So the whole point of this basically was that I wanted to. You remember that my dad sat down with Grandma and Grandpa, and be careful, buddy. He sat down with Grandma and Grandpa and had them tell their old stories, right?
Yes.
Well, I thought about it and I thought, well, I never did that with Dad, so we don't have that for him, right? But
Gentle.
I would like to put together. Lucas, be careful, buddy.
You don't want to break it. Be soft, gentle, like a little mouse.
So I thought what I would like to do would be to do in podcast format. You'll cut your finger. Be careful. In podcast format, like us sitting around talking about things like, stories about our life and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And then to be able to, when you talk into the mic. It's okay if he hits that one.
Oh, okay. Are you recording right? Oh,
yeah,
I
I'm
see.
recording. So we can tell stories that he can listen to when he's 25 or whatever, when he grows
cool.
up. Or he can play for his kids and say, hey, this is my mom, this is my grandfather.
This is my mom talking to my grandpa.
But I also thought it would be interesting to have like a 30-minute episode, if you will, where we talk about things like by the way, I mean, when I was 20, it would have been nice to know that there's a value in knowing what your own love language is.
Yeah.
There's some of the stuff that we talk about that we're like very energetic and able to talk about it now, right? But 20 years from now, I don't know if I'll be conversant on these things very well. I might get Alzheimer's. I thought maybe we could just start capturing some of the ideas that we have and thoughts that I know if it was me and my grandfather, I know if it was my grandparents, I would be very jazzed about.
Give it to Pop Pop. That's Pop Pop's.
Very jazzed about having access to it.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe for him or his kids, it might be cool to have it. What do you think?
I like the idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You can even be on it.
I'm having a little bit of the being perceived anxiety, but it's fine. But I'll get over it.
One of the reasons I wanted to come in and
What?
Play it. It's not that kind of microphone, buddy.
He turns everything into a microphone. Like he'll have a stick in the backyard and he'll go like, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Rock star.
Well, we'll get him on the other microphone here in a little bit. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get a little time on it because I feel like we could, kind of get used to talking
like this with the thing like this.
Yeah, and I think the thing is get enough time with it so that these things disappear.
Yeah.
That's kind of my idea. Yeah, the lights go when you talk. So anyway, I've been thinking about how to format it. I've got a logo, and I wrote theme music for it, bumper music for it.
Yeah, anyway, kids.
Yeah, anyway, kid. So the idea is the tagline. Watch it, buddy.
Baby, don't go in there.
The tagline that I wrote for it was, how when you get to be old and you say, if I only knew then what I know now, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he's getting himself all up in there. Lucas is in my office closet, and he's climbed up into the shelving unit. Since you, Lucas, are the person that we're usually talking to in these, it's you. You have... This was recorded when you could literally fit into a shelving unit, single shelf. So anyway, I just thought that would kind of work out pretty cool. I ran into my
microphone.
That's cool. Anyway, but at some point I would like to kind of, but I'd like to get stories and stuff like that. So have some that are just story time, and some that are themed. How do you navigate, communicating with another person, or how do you navigate, what are mistakes that I've made in my life when it came to decision making, the things that actually matter. Yeah. That if I had access to a 60-year-old person, or my mom at 25, 26, I kind of would have liked to have heard that.
I think that also you could talk about things, in a candid way, without having the pretext of I'm already in a conversation with him, telling him about something that I think he shouldn't do. And he isn't quite sure why I would be so controlling about something. But maybe
kind of
one day he
preemptively-
can listen to it and be like, well, this is why I'd prefer if you waited to drink alcohol until you were at least 21.
Yeah, things
and
like that.
go into things like that. Or this is how, like, you know, this is my mental health history and you should watch out for these things because getting a diagnosis could help you understand yourself better, feel better.
And get ahead of it.
Because when you, like with my OCD specifically and the type of OCD I have, it can be really
Lucas,
scary.
you're playing the ukulele. It's a little Billie Eilish ukulele, and now you're staring at the light.
Him with OCD because it can be very genetic because it's a specifically neurological synapse types thing.
Sure.
And like, yeah. And the type that I have, you know, could be even more confusing for a young man.
You want to go show the ukulele to Sassy?
Or even any kind of
if you turn those, it's going to be way out of tune, dude. You can take it in there. Show it to Grandma. Yeah. You want to open the door for him? Or would you please open the door for him?
Yeah.
You don't have to shut it. You don't have to shut it. But yeah, no, exactly.
Like
Stuff
that, yeah.
like that. That's one idea. I mean, I had a number of little ideas and 30 minutes, you know, and since we're not, I'll throw them on some format where they'll be accessible, you know. And maybe ones that are more personal like that one, I'll put in a format that, like I do the videos.
Like super widely accessible.
Like I do the videos. But ones where we're talking about things like, what's your love language? Do you even know what your love language is?
Yeah.
You know, we can, I actually
think
have
I know
it.
Is that just like your first idea, or is that one you already have a little roof of? A spoofy doofy?
It's things like that.
Whatever that
The
means.
ones that are more general, I'll go ahead and put those on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And
honestly, with my OCD, I might just like preemptive, like, because I'll be able to. I've clearly had OCD probably my entire life, if I really think about it.
Yeah,
all the
I remember
way
when
that
you were
I've
little.
been, I've had like fear of sexual OCD since I was a very small child, to the point where, like, you know, it's such a serious. But I probably am going to talk to him about. I'll be very in tune with his behaviors in that regard, and be able to kind of get ahead of if that's something that he's dealing with. Because y'all didn't know that that's what that was exactly. You took me to a psychiatrist, and
we knew there was something,
and they were unfortunately wrong, and so it left me confused for longer. So, like, I would take medicine, I think I'd be okay, and then they get me off of it, and then I have similar things, and then you go into puberty and stuff, makes it all crazy. You're like, what is going on? Why, you know?
Sure.
But it was the same thing as when I was a little kid. So I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to see that in him and, like, realize, you know, is this an idiosyncrasy or is this really upsetting him? You know, and that is very personal to me, and I'd be open to talking about it, but I wouldn't want to
broadcast that out to the world.
Yeah, because I don't want him to feel like it's just something that I talk about. I want it to be like little, like, I'm paying attention to you. This isn't all about my experience and stuff. Like, we can just talk one-on-one about it, and that's how you'll be able to understand. But things like alcoholism and stuff like that.
Drinking.
Yeah. It'd be easy. Come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mental health is kind of like personal conversations, you know, the in-depth part of it.
Right.
But the, like, alcoholism, drug use, like, just being able to revisit that kind of thing.
Peer pressure, all those things.
Relationships.
Yeah. Casual friend relationships compared to romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Are, you know, I mean, and if there are...
Meeting expectations, personal expectations.
Yeah, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, all the stuff that if I were 19 and I didn't know any old people...
Yeah.
I would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So if it's not super duper personal,
I'm only 26 right now.
Right. But I do think that you and I and bring Christy in and your mom,
maybe even
and
Cameron,
just be able to do.
Well, Cameron's not really.
I've got a third mic, so I can do 3 different people.
Damn, how much does this setup cost you, dog?
Well, I've accrued it slowly over time.
Oh, okay. So you're not quite sure off the top.
I'm not sure. No, the only thing I know is the laptop was more expensive than I probably would admit. The software was $200 and this microphone was $500.
Ooh, spicy.
So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and this was a test basically.
Testing.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop us now, and thanks. This was the first test episode of Anyway Kid, the podcast.